Hey everyone, Kira with Crofty Cosplay, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a pretty cool looking galaxy t-shirt using bleach and Plaid's fabric creation paints. So to start, you're going to need a black t-shirt. Make sure it's pre-washed before you start the project. And as an option, you can add certain silhouettes to your galaxy t-shirt, such as this X-Wing and TIE Fighter that I found. Then you will need freezer paper. It has to be freezer paper. I will explain more about this in a little bit. You will also need scissors if you decide to put silhouettes on there, a Sharpie marker or any type of marker or pen, as well as an iron, and your fabric paints. You can use a couple colors or as many colors as you wish. You will also need a sponge, or you can use a paintbrush to apply the paint, or a sponge brush. And lastly, you will need a spray bottle filled with equal parts bleach and water. I will explain more on this in a little bit as well. So if you decide that you want to add silhouettes, such as these Star Wars ones, to your t-shirt, just go on Google and search for them. Search for whatever you want. And make sure you size them down to whatever size you wish. I made mine kind of small. And then just print them out on regular paper. Again, this is optional, so you can completely skip this entire step. So if you're adding the silhouettes, take your freezer paper and cut just enough to cover the silhouettes. You don't need that much. Now, you do need to use freezer paper. I get this question a lot about wax paper or parchment paper, but it has to be freezer paper because freezer paper has that one side with the wax. So the point of using freezer paper is to create a stencil, and then when you iron it onto the shirt, that wax side kind of melts a little bit so it will adhere to the shirt and not damage it. To make things a little easier, make sure the wax side is face down and tape the freezer paper over the silhouettes. That way it won't move while you trace the outline of the shapes. Once you have your shapes traced, then you want to cut them out. Now, since these were pretty small, like smaller than what I normally do with these bleach shirts, the X-Wing was a little tedious to cut out. I wouldn't go any smaller than that if you have more intricate shapes, but I wanted the focus to be the galaxy of this shirt. I just wanted to add a little bit of Star Wars flair in there. Now figure out where you want to put your silhouettes. And then making sure the wax side is face down on the shirt, just iron them on. And what this does is, again, the wax kind of melts a little bit so it sticks to the shirt, but it doesn't damage the shirt and peels off very easily after you've used the bleach. All right, now we can get to the fun part. You will want to spray your shirt outside or somewhere like a kitchen or bathroom where you won't mind getting bleach all over the place. So I just brought mine outside and I inserted plastic placemats inside the shirt to make sure that when I spray, the bleach doesn't seep through to the back of the shirt. I also folded the sleeves underneath because I didn't want to get bleach on those, but that is purely up to you whether you want to do the same. Then I pinched and twisted the center of the t-shirt so I could get this cool kind of galaxy spiral effect. Now for the bleach. You just need to use equal parts bleach, any kind of household bleach, and water. So that means 50% bleach, 50% water. And you do not need a lot. As you can see in my bottle, I barely even fill the bottle halfway up with it. But again, it's just equal parts bleach and water, 50-50. That's all you gotta do. Now, before you go spraying your shirt, make sure you do a few test sprays first because as you can see, mine took a few pumps to actually get going. So then once you're ready to actually spray your shirt, you wanna be very light. If you squeeze the handle very lightly, you'll get those big fat drops, which can be cool as stars. And for this particular design, you want to concentrate the bleach more in the center of the spiral and then be less going outward. Also, do not saturate the freezer paper stencil because if you get them too wet, they will peel right off, or you won't get a clean design because the bleach will start to seep underneath it. And the key to this is to be patient. It only takes maybe less than a minute for the bleach to actually start showing that it's working, but it'll continue to brighten as time passes. So you want to wait a little bit and see how much it brightens and then figure out if you want to add more or, add more to certain areas. Now wait just another minute or two before you remove the freezer paper stencils, and you should see these clean cut silhouettes. Then immediately throw it right into the wash, just using cold water, mild detergent, and dry it afterwards. Once the shirt is washed and dried, you can get to painting. Again, I inserted the placemats inside the shirt so that the paints wouldn't seep through to the back. So I used Plaid's fabric creation paints in a variety of colors, and these are very bright and pretty colors. To apply them, I just took this dollar store bath sponge and ripped pieces off and dabbed it on. You can use a paintbrush or a sponge brush, whatever you have. But I applied the paints in dabs and then kind of like swiping motions. I just had fun with it. I didn't really think about it. For the center, I made sure to use the brightest color, which was yellow. Then I tried to do a subtle gradient. So I started with yellow, then I went to the orange, then the red would turn into the light purple, then it went to the darker purple, or from the yellow on one side, it went to that lime green, to the dark green, to the teal, to the blues, that kind of a thing. But you can do whatever you want, whatever looks cool to you, and just have fun with it. Once I was done with the colors, I poured a little bit of the white, then with a paintbrush, dipping it really quickly in water and then the white paint, I kind of flicked the paintbrush around to get tiny white stars. Then with a pointed paintbrush, I painted on bigger stars, as well as added a little bit of those shooting stars. Now these paints usually dry in just a couple hours, depending on how much you apply to the shirt, but you want to let it dry for 24 hours before you heat set it with a dry iron. Then after 72 hours, you can hand wash it cold or put it on a very gentle cycle. According to Plaid's website, they say that you should always try to hand wash these items that you use the fabric creation paints on and let them air dry. And that's it for how to paint a Galaxy t-shirt with bleach and fabric paints. Thanks so much for watching.